um, use of the Photoshop tools. Okay, the first thing you would do is this. Now, like we all know that these are all our tools that we need, right? If you have been following some of the videos, we've recorded the usage of some of the tools here. So and when you click on any of the tools here, you find out that you will have some things here. You have some things here which is like the property of the tool selected here. Select any other tool, you still have something related to that. Then and here we have file. We have some other things like you have the file where you can start a new document, open a new document, open as smart objects. We have browsing bridge as well. Bridge is another Photoshop, another Adobe application. So we have open recent. You will see all the recent file. You can clear it if you don't want to see any one of them there. So you won't see open recent here again because I've cleared it the other time until I have a lot of open documents. So we have close all. Close all will close all the documents here. The close will close this document alone, while the close all will close both this and this or any other document you have on the tab panel here. So you can use this to close this document alone. You can use this to close document alone. You can use this to close all the documents. So you have this to minimize or maximize. You have this to restore down. Okay. So and here you always have some things here. We have the color. We have the swatches. Now when you click any one of it, if you double click on it, it minimizes it. You click here, click once, it open it up. If you don't click it, open it up. If you click once, it's reduce the size. Now we have all these things are in tab. We have the color, we have the swatches, and when you have the swatches, which are colors as well, we have colors, we have swatches. So if you minimize this, you have another panel. We have lane, we have libraries, we have adjustment. For example, now if I want to learn some step-by-step guide, I can go to foundations. What did I want to do? I have Photoshop tool. I have work with multiple layers. I have select part of an image. So if you are having problem with anything here, this is just like a guide. But the thing about this is it gives you an hint. You can say an image is opened up by default. They use a layer mask to add an object to an image. So masking layer is a great technique for hiding. These are just tutorial. Click here, it shows you another thing. It shows you the hint. Say select this layer, select layer 2. If I click on layer 2, what happened? Click the add layer mask icon, telling me then with white box on it next to the layer mask, next to layer 2 is your mask. Determine what part of the layer is hidden or shown. Click the image next to. Okay, now click the mask with white box to make edit. If I click the mask with white box, make edit, select the brush stroke. You can see these are just hints. Open the brush settings. You want to make brush strokes that have soft edges. See the brush size around 150 pixel. See, I should set the brush size to be around 150 pixel. Okay, there are two boxes. There are two boxes here. Click the foreground color box. This is foreground color. Click the black region. Click the black region and then click OK. Black region and then click OK. Paint around the blue pencil. And what can you see? When you paint black on a mask, you hide the corresponding parts. You hide the corresponding part of the layer that contains the mask. Click next. You can see this is just giving us a guide, which is some things we already know. That's under learn. I am not interested in learn again. This one has 3 to 7. I can click next. I can click next. So I can just I can say no. So that's just for the length side of it. Then we have our layer, which allow you to select based on what you are working on per time. Now there are some tools here that I haven't talked about, which is very important as well. This is zoom tool. We have the zoom increase. So we have the plus or minus. You can see on the property bar. This one reduce, this one increase, and if I say resize to fit, though it's increasing size, you will see that the size here is increasing. As I'm pressing, is increasing. I can see the document size will be like 3.34 megabytes. So if I double click the hand, it will return it back to my screen, shows everything, reduce the percentage to 56.2, giving us the color mode, RGB mode, and 8-bit format. So that's one. Then this is zoom tool, this is the hand tool, and already you know what we use the hand tool for. So if I zoom now, and to the extent that I have all this scrolling bar, I can use my panel to shift. You can see, just click and drag, it's shifting. You can see it's shifting to one side of the page here. So instead of clicking this arrow, I can use the hand tool as well. So then I can drag this one too. Or if I double click on the hand, it reduces the size and fit it to string. I can say fit string, I can say fit string, I can say fit string, say 100%, fit string, fit string, fill string, we have fill string, we have fit string. So that's on that. And when you have the arrow here, you have this rotate view. If I have an object on my page and I select this rotate view, what happens is rotating my canvas. Did you get that? That's the rotate view. Okay, angle, I can say 0 angle. If I say 0 angle, it gives you back the size. That's on rotate. Now we have our hand tool. We have rectangle tools. We've used rectangle tools on several occasions. Then we have rounded rectangle tools. We have them as well. We have ellipse tool. We have polygon tool. We have as many tools as we want to. We have line tool. We have custom shape tool. These are some things that you will use a lot of the time. But there's one thing about any of the tools you are using, is that you have the power to modify any of the shape to anything you want to. For example, let's say I'm going to delete this. So let's say this is my rectangle. I don't want a rectangle. I can, instead of having this, these are custom shapes actually, and when you come here you have some other custom shapes you can draw. So that's on that. Then let's say I don't have this. I have what we call direction selection arrow here, which is similar, which is also can be used on any of the object. So I'm going to click on an object and I'm going to use direction selection on it. Now when I click on direction selection, this will allow you to modify the shape. Now each shape, each node, these are nodes, can be modified. With our direction selection tool. Sometimes the shape we want to draw is quite different from what we have. You know, this is the kind of straight stuff. Now that's when it comes to using this pen tool. You have this pen tool. You have under, you click and hold, and you have the other sub tools there. We have curvature tool. You can use curvature tool, asking our curvature to curve this shape. Sorry, curvature will not work here, but convert node to curve will work. I'll tell you why convert node will work, is that we already have an existing node. But curvature is for those who are just drawing a node. So once I'm done with that, I can click back on this direction selection tool and use it perfectly on this shape. So I can go back to this and convert this node as well to curve. Then come back to my tool here. So let's say this is all I've got, or let's say this is what I want to move. Okay. So you can use the same method for any shapes you want to draw. That's if you are starting with rectangle. Should in case you don't want to start with rectangle, you have a tool here called the pen tool. The pen tool is one of the tools you need to learn how to master very well, especially when it comes to graphics, because as time goes on, you will be using them for shape, creating different shapes and all of that. So the first tool here is called the pen tool. Already we are familiar with text, so I won't bother to stress myself around that. The pen tool, you can click different edge, draw different shape of your choice, then take it to the origin. And this particular tool, direction selection tools, enable you to modify. Just click on it, change the way the shapes looks like. Whether you give them whether we have the right. Now let's say we have this now. So and we can see, let's say this is all I've got now. If I want this line to be curved, I'll just come here, click on what, convert curvature to curve. So you can see that more of the thing I'm doing, they are abstract shape, and they started with the pen tool. So apart from the pen tools, we have freeform pen tool. Freeform pen tool allows you to click and hold down your mouse to drag whatever thing you want to drag and take it to origin. So it creates a kind of path. It creates a path for you. So apart from free pen tool, we have curvature pen. Like I said, once you click from one location to the other, what the curvature helps you to do is what? Create shapes along those lines. So that's how it works. So that's what curvature pen can do. I've used convert curvature pen. Now add notes. For example, it is possible for me to add more notes here. So that's add note. Remove note also works similarly with add note. Remove notes, and so on and so forth. So the last one, which is convert curve to, so just click on convert to wall. So that's how it works. That's how the two there. You can delete anyone you don't need there. So we have our text tool, horizontal text tool and vertical text tool. We have these to be blurring shape. I don't use that most often. We have this to be for our paint. We have this for our eraser tools, background erasers. We have these as well. So other two I will want to use is a close tab tool and a pattern tool. Now close tab tool are usually majorly used for editing picture. For example, you have a picture somewhere and you want to remove part of that picture. Let's say you are at the beach and you want to remove your picture from the beach, leaving the background, the beach background alone. So how do you achieve that? That's what you can use clone stamp tool for. You must have seen different designs. But let me look for a picture. I can lay my hands on one. Okay, let's start with this now. Let's say this is my design, right? Now I want to modify this. The thing is simple. Let me increase the size. I've done it before actually. So if I say okay now, and I double click on the hand to bring it back to my view. Oh, sorry. Okay, I can click and drag this one here. Now this is it. I want to edit this guy. So I'll have to resize it so that already we know that if we draw white line in all of this, white line here, it solves our problem, yes or no? But we are left with this. We only need the background, right? We only need the background. So all we need to do is do some modification so that we are left with empty stuff here. Now that's when the close stamp of a thing comes to play. You can merge this together, convert to smart object, you can say convert so you can rasterize it. Rasterize it as a layer, it becomes one object. Because you want to work on it, it must be rasterized. Alright? So when you click on the close stamp tool, you can increase the size. Right click on your object, increase the size, then hold down the Alt key. When you hold down the Alt key, it shows that you are sampling where you want to start copying from. Once I click on the left button once, you can see that my mouse will change and I begin to paint. So it begins to pick the source and be filling the current location with my source. Did you get that now? Now you can see we remove that. I can take another portion, let's say put down the Alt key to start sampling another area. So I'll just be clicking once. So now if I mistakenly click here, okay, if I say Alt here and I click here, you can see that it's affecting. So I will have to undo this. Okay, I'll click on Alt, sample this guy out. So that's how to use the close stamp tool. I can say Alt, this place needs more thicker color. Can resample. Anytime you click on Alt again, you are resampling. So let's say Alt now. Click on Alt. Click on Alt. I can say Alt here, and I can click down like this. Can select Alt here again. So you can see it's a bit rough, right? What you can do in that case is you can make a selection again. I like some of this area, and okay, let's make it bigger. Beyond that, let's can add filter, blur. Add more Gaussian blur to it, increase it a bit. You can see it's a bit kind of select. Now you can make it a kind of selection like this, so that you will see that is all this area filter blur, Russian blur. So people will see it as okay, it carries its own select. So that's how it is. So and that's how to, you can see that we have to heavily edit some things out here, and that's how to use the clone stamp tool. So if I want to use this now, I can save as what, either PSD or JPEG or whatever things I want to save it with. So I'm going to save it now. Save as okay, go my document graphics, give my two. So I'll just save it now. I can come back over to it and add some more features to it. That's how to use the clone stamp tool. If you are to use the pattern are majorly to draw pattern. You can create a new layer and can start drawing pattern. So you can see the patterns that you have here. Choosing pattern here as well. You can increase the diameter. You can use it to fill. You can use it to make designs. Yes, pattern. You have different patterns here. You can come here and say load all pattern. You can see artistic. You have artistic service. You say append. When you click on append, it adds it under. So look at it. But one thing about this is that I operated it on the new layer. I can disable anything that I don't like from it. So we have erodic texture. So we have because I click OK now, it overrides everything we have here. But if I click on artistic surface and I say append, you can see it leaves the first one. It adds some other ones as well too. If I say grayscale paper and click on append, and see it's adding more, you can see. So, and that's one thing about it. If I'm okay, I may decide to create it and not make it too visible by reducing the opacity and the fill. People will hardly know that you've used pattern. Those are ways by which you can create backgrounds. Yeah, you can use it to create different design backgrounds. And it's even possible for you to load the pattern. Now the pattern is .path. I can go to my Google and download pattern.path and load pattern.path. So let's see if we have some patterns that we can download. Because if you go to all free downloads, you don't really see a lot of patterns you can download. If you see any pattern that you love to use here for your design, you can click on it and download the pattern. Let's say I'm cool with this pattern. Let's just say I'm cool with this pattern. The size is, let me see, the size is okay. Okay, it's downloading now. Bed and flower pattern. So I open it now. You always have the dot path. The dot path. Once you double click on it, it will open it. You can see it say, do you want to open this file? Click OK. Or you can extract it to your computer, and you go to, already it has opened, but let me see. You can now say pattern. I guess it's web pattern. Let's see. I guess it's web pattern. Okay, you can see these are new patterns. So, well, anytime you are using pattern, always create a pattern on a new layer. That one will give you, it will give you the power to modify the pattern without affecting your design. So you have different stuffs here that you can, different brush size, different brush pattern, different, you want something like this, but you can see this is pattern. So that's bed flower pattern. So if I say load pattern, if I say pattern, I say load pattern, I say load pattern, I'll go to download. I'll go to here, bed and flower pattern. So I get this. I think that's the one I'm using as well. So sometimes some pattern comes with different uh, samples, because the bed one seems to be this. I don't really know this. So that's our pattern actually. But if I don't need any of the pattern, I can easily delete them. I can select them and say I can drag it to trash can. Do you see that I have trash can here? I can drag any element to trash can, any element I want to delete. That's on pattern. I think we have another one called the brush. Brush patterns, brush and patterns. We have brush, we have clone sample. They are similar in the sense that you can download brush as well too. As you can download pattern, you can download brush as well too. So if you want to download brush, just go to Google and say download brush. The brush is .abr. So we have different brush that you can download. I can look for real estate brush. I can look for church brush. Let me look for real estate. There are a lot of things you can download to make your design more powerful. If you look at this, okay, real estate. This one is not really real estate, but it's giving something like smoke. So, but we have architect brush. So if I look for architect brush, so if you look at some things here, we have some sponsored stuff here, but we still have some cool stuff here that you can look up to for your designs. We have all of this. You can look for more. The artistic brush that you can use in your designs, especially when you are designing something pertaining to real estate. So I'm going to click on this. Let's say this is the brush. I have some other brush here. I can download it. It will download within 5 minutes, and you can go to brush, follow the same pattern to go to brush and follow the same pattern as well to download the brush you have here. So once the brush is successfully downloaded, let's see. Okay, it's still in progress. So let's wait for a while. So once the brush is successfully downloaded here, few seconds, you load it through brush. Click on B, brush. You have your brush here. You can click on the settings here. You can say import brush. Import brush asks you for the .abr. Takes you can locate where you have it. If your own is on download, I have my brush here, so I will just load the okay, do I have brush here? Next, downloads. Okay, I don't have .abr because I've not unzip it. I'll go to my brush downloads, then I will unzip the brush. Extract file here. It must be extracted because the brush cannot see a zip file. So I load the brush here. Now you find out that the brush is added. You can see 20 architect building brushes. Click here. That means we have different architect building brushes here. So if you can see when I click on the page, the size is big. I can reduce the size. I have to create a new layer actually, and if the size is not too big for me, then make sure that your color is not black and white. Let me sample color here, because the color you have here is what will be used. you can see giving me I come down here, I can look for another brush depending. This is architect 7, this is a kind of apartment. I can create each one of it on new layer. The total value is much. Okay, let me look at the size. Size 1200. Let's see, 1200. Okay, you can see, and all I need to do is make sure that you can see this is big. I can say, okay, you know what, just do the resize here. So this is a kind of way by which you can use brush for your design. So that's on that. That's on that. But you know, one thing is I can click this. I can say, okay, since this is like this, I can remove the white. Okay, not this. And use the white here and say delete this white for me. Alright. Then I can say this guy should come to the back. I can drag this guy to come to the back of this. So to look as if select. This is part of the stuff. Do you understand? But this was actually made with brush. Do you understand? But in that case, I can make sure the building, I can look and I can delete it, and since I have this now, I can make a new layer here, come down outside this, click on my brush tool, and I can look for a more deeper color. Let's say I'm interested in using this color. I can say stay like this. You can see it's formed a kind of building, kind of architect building, as if it's part of the stuff. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's how to use brush. Not only this brush, you have other type of brush you can use as well too, depending on what the brush is meant to do. That's on the brush. I think I've explained this. Pencil are for drawing. You can make a draw with pencil, but you rarely use it because you have your pen tool over here. This is for healing. This is for editing photo. I'll cover this in our next video, and I'm sure that that will help you not go to go. Thank you.